Alright, well if you're watching this video, it's because you want to know how to actually grow your info product and what data and metrics actually show growth. You know what I mean? What do you need to track? What data is important that shows overall growth, over the course of 6 months, 1 month, a week, whatever it is. I'm going to go over how to track, what it is that you need to track, and what metrics you need to show from the tracking that you get. Let's say, one of the data pieces that I'm going to show you how to track in today's video is leads. So whenever you have all of your leads tracked inside of a database, what metrics can you get from tracking all of those leads? That's kind of a brief explanation of what I'll show you, just what it is you need to track, how to track it, and all the metrics that are going to show you what it is that is growing your info product, what is holding your info product back, what it is that you need to track. People get kind of overwhelmed whenever tracking gets involved. There's so many pieces of data that you can grab and get from tracking, with Google Analytics, whatever it is. It gets overwhelming. So I kind of just want to make it easy and simple and tell you what it is that needs to get tracked. Obviously, you could say, okay, revenue is what grows, info products. You need to be tracking your revenue. But everything else behind revenue needs to be tracked because your revenue depends on everything behind that. All of that stuff, which I will be getting into today. So that's what I'm going to do and get into right now. So first I'm going to get into the metrics actually, so I can show you what it is that you're going to get out of everything that we track. Because without this Looker Studio, this software that shows and kind of visualizes all the data, with this, it's going to make it a lot easier going forward to understand, why it is we're tracking leads and some of these other, events and stuff that happen within your funnel. So first, this is what I like to call the CRM overview. Essentially, all this is it just gives you an overview of how everything's going on a day-to-day basis. So you have your total Instagram views, TikTok views, X views, YouTube views. So you see all of your platforms and how they're performing and what's pulling the most traction and the most attention that you can guide down your funnel. Right here, we have a chart that would typically show, different line graph or different lines showing what is doing the best out of these. So it makes it easier to kind of comprehend and understand the data. And the new leads by platform, which I think is really important. What this would show you is the amount of signups that you're getting per platform. So maybe Instagram gets 10 leads one day and TikTok only gets 5, but Twitter gets 15 and then YouTube gets 20. That'll show up here, new leads by platform. So you can start seeing, okay, YouTube is my best lever to pull with content if I'm trying to get new leads every single day. Or you can see, okay, TikTok's pretty underperformed. How can I get that to perform equally with Instagram and, pull that lever to get more views for short form? Down here, this just kind of makes it a little bit easier to understand where people are going and your conversion rates. So you have your total views, which would be from your social media sources, and then you'll have your view to lead percentage. So you kind of see, okay, we got 100 views and out of that we got 10 leads. So that would be a 10% conversion rate. And then now we can see, okay, how many of these new leads are going to the trial? And then you'll get your lead to trial rate. So let's say out of those 10 leads, 5 do, you get a 50% trialing rate from the leads, which would honestly be really fucking good if you got that. And this just kind of gives, like I said, an overall, you can see your business performance on a day-to-day basis. You know what I mean? And you can, from here too, I like using this because I can look at it every day and I can get an understanding of how my business runs and how it works and, the health and the vitals of my business. If I see that I'm getting 1,000 views every single day, okay, I start seeing that as a pattern. So whenever a 2K day hits, I'm like, oh shit, my views yesterday were 1,000, now they're 2,000. They went up 100%. What caused that? And I can start looking and from there picking apart the data and seeing what videos caused that and how many leads I got out of that. And just, overall, start having really good data analysis for growth because overall that is our goal. So for our second page, we have our website performance. And this will kind of show you just what it is people are doing. Are people interacting with their website? Are they engaging with it? Are our viewers from social media even going to the website? Just stuff like that so we can, make sure that our main, source of conversions, the website, is doing well. If your website doesn't work, then you're not getting leads because your social media viewers are just staying as social media viewers. They're not going down that funnel to become a lead and you get their email and such. So this again shows you social media views, so you can overall get an understanding of how the website is doing, so you can compare, your views to CTA clicks or forms submitted, and then from there you can get your platform CTRs. And this is just click-through rate, so you get an idea of if Instagram has a 10% click-through rate, that means that 10% of the viewers on Instagram are going to the website. So if you get 1,000 views on the day, then 100 of those people went and clicked on the website. Same thing for TikTok. We could say, okay, that is a 5% click-through rate, and then YouTube has a 20% click-through rate, and Twitter is a 15%. So you can understand, okay, YouTube and Twitter are my most engaged audiences. Those people click on my, website and they interact with me beyond just social media. They're a better core audience than just, short form like Instagram and TikTok. And then down here we get platform by engagement. So this will just show us, once again, our most engaged audience, but on the website. So, a common thing that I see is most of the time YouTube and Twitter audiences, they engage and, they go through the websites, and they go to the websites a little bit more often than short form audiences. So that would show here, YouTube and Twitter would have the highest event count per, lead. And events are just, let's say a lead goes on a website and they click on the page and they open the form. Those would be events. So just anything that a lead is doing on the website, clicks, form submissions, button clicks, VSL views, stuff like that, those are all separate events. So we could see that from this. And then here, from total website views, we get our CTA clicks and then our form submitted. I really like having this because this shows me, is the website actually doing its job? Are people actually clicking on the CTAs and submitting forms, not just going on the site, viewing it, and then exiting out of it, or going on the site, clicking the CTA, and then not actually submitting the form once they get to that process? This just shows you the overall health, and it gives you an idea whether your website is good or bad, pretty much. It's the make or break, in my opinion, which is super important if we're going for growth once again, because we need to make sure, hey, we're getting leads on a day-to-day basis. Our website is doing its job. And then the final page that I have here, this is just kind of your subscription health. This is revenue. So you can see your trials activated, your lead to trial percentage. And one thing I want to note too when dealing with trials, all of your trials activated and your lead to trial are going to be different sets of data. Your trials activated for the day are not going to be the new paying people, if you get what I mean. So let's say, we had 10 trials activated and then we had 20 new paying customers on the day. Your lead to trial would not be from these two. It would be from this, and then the leads from 7 days ago. Let's say if you had a 7-day free trial, that makes sense. These new paying people went through the 7-day free trial and now they're showing up, on that new paying, on that subscription date. The trial's activated, they're just now getting into that 7-day sequence of the free trial. So a lot of people mix that up and they're like, I got 10 leads that activated the free trial today, and then I also had 10 new paying. So that means I have a 100% conversion rate? No, you don't. You need to go back and look at the leads that actually trialed. You need to go back and look at, 7 days back and see, okay, who trialed and then who converted today, if you understand what I'm saying. Paying lost, this is just people who cancel their subscriptions. I really like paying attention to this because if your churn rate's really high, then it's hard to grow with a bad churn rate. You know what I mean? It kills growth for info products on a subscription payment type. Trial to paid, this is what I was talking on earlier. Disregard everything I just said. I just realized I messed that up. Trial to paid is what I'm talking about. So these two right here, those are different. And then lead to trial, that would be, okay. So that would be on a day-to-day basis. If someone submitted a form and then trialed on the same day, that's what this would show. And then revenue, how much you made on the day. Easy as that. And then down here, subscription health, what this would show is basically, are you getting more trials and more paying members on a day-to-day basis than losing members? So it's just comparing trials activated, new paying, and paying lost all on here. As long as your paying loss stays below these two, then you will always grow, and it makes it really easy to see. And then lead to trial as well. You know, let's say maybe you have a spike day and you got 20 new trials one day and then 10 the next. You can see what caused that spike visually through here. And then once again, go through, do some data analysis and find out, okay, what caused that spike so we can start replicating it. All right, well, that was the entire metric page. Now I'm going to get into a Miro board that's going to show what it is that you need to track and how to track it and how to set it up. All right, so this is the Miro board. I know this does not look like a lot. This is like not anything compared to the actual visualizer metrics that I just showed you, but this is what goes into that, you know, visualizer. This is what actually gives you that data to visualize and show all the metrics. So first, I'm going to show you what softwares you need, platforms it is that you'll be tracking. So here, like it says platform, this is what we're tracking. You know, what is the actual medium? Where are we getting our data from? And then we have our tracking. This is just the software. So Metricool, this I love so much. You can put all of your social medias on here, and then you can have them pull on a day-to-day basis. So if you post 3 videos on the day, 24 hours after the post date, you'll get all of the data back, you know, 24 hours after they're posted. Send it to the Looker Studio, to the database, and you'll be able to get, you know, good valid data. The other, and this one I believe is like $40 a month. The other is GA4 and Hotjar and Clarity, and this will be your funnel tracking. So for funnel, this would just be Go High Level, ClickFunnels, Webflow, Framer, any of your funnel building websites, any of your website builders. You can use GA4, which is Google Analytics, and GTM, which is Google Tag Manager, and then Hotjar and Clarity. All of these are all free. Metricool is about $40 a month, but these are all free, so it makes it super easy. This is just tracking what's going on with your website, and this is just tracking your social views, how many likes you're getting, how many impressions, all of that. And if you need an installation guide for any of these, let me know in the comments, and I'll love to make a video on it. So once you have all of these set up, this is where we get into what is your tracking and where you're going to be putting all that data. Now we're going to get into what it is that we actually need to track. So this would be new social media views through Metricool, impressions, likes, all the views that you're getting across, you know, all of your social media platforms. And then next will be new page views and new custom events. This will be through Google Analytics and GTM, Google Tag Manager. And that'll just, you know, be whatever's happening on the website. And then we have new leads, applications, calls booked. This will be ClickFunnels, Go High Level, Tally, Typeform, Calendly, whatever it is that you're using to book and grab people's informations. And then the last is your actual payment processor, new sales, trialing, and cancellations. So this could be WAP, Fanbasis, Stripe, whatever it is you're using. And then all of this data will now get sent to a database, which I will actually show you real quick. So what I'm using as an example and what I use for clients is just a simple Google Sheets thing. And this is literally just somewhere to hold all of the data that we just went over. You can see my columns all up here. And it's a super simple, super easy database to use that connects with Looker Studio really easily. So once we have that, you have your database, which would be Google Sheets, and then each page within the Google Sheet would be your base. So you would have, you know, one for all of your payment processors, or you would have one for all your payments, all of your new leads, all of your page views, and then all your social media views, which would then go to the Looker. So that's pretty much everything. How to track stuff to actually grow your info product, all the metrics, what to track, how to set it up, everything. I gave you everything. So if you need any help, don't feel free to DM me below in my Instagram. I'd love to answer any questions regarding this, really anything with marketing and data. And that's really it. I hope this video is good. Make sure to like, subscribe, do all that shit, and have a blessed day.